I know. Don't adjust your computer screens. This is Justin, and this is a Smackdown review. I know. I know. Let's just cut out all the crap and let's just do it. Sometimes you watch Smackdown, I guess, and sometimes it's like 6 months in between. But anyways, let's go. We start out with the Shield, my dogs. But one dog is better than all the rest. Is greater than all the rest, you could say. And you can guess which one that is. So Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose, when they're out there, they're talking about how they got robbed on Raw. Roman and Dean Ambrose end up getting into it a little bit after they show some highlights from the Rumble. Dean Ambrose is like, I don't regret almost eliminating you, and Roman Reigns is like, I don't. Well, in that case, I don't, regret actually eliminating you. I mean, you just tried. I actually did it. But then Seth Rollins calms him down, and he's like, listen, we got to deal with the Wyatts, actually. So they start talking about the Wyatts and how they got screwed. We're the Shield. These dudes came in our yard. We can't let this go. We don't know why they did it. We can't let this go. And Vicky Guerrero comes out, and it sounds like she's about to do something good for once and announce a cool match. And then, behold the king, Triple H, making a Smackdown appearance. He might do that all the time now. I actually don't know. But I took it as something that doesn't happen very often. He came out, and he goes all the way down the ring, gets in the ring, and he's like, guys, get over it. There's nothing to be accomplished here. Wyatts did what they did. You got to get over it. And he keeps telling them to get over it. And they're all like, you can tell they don't want to. Dean Ambrose is like tripping balls. Then Roman Reigns gets right up in Triple H's face, and they immediately cut to the stare down cam. And I said, it's a good looking stare down cam right there, Roman. And he basically says, hey, we're not looking for your approval, Triple H. And then finally Triple H grants the match, and the Shield are stoked, and they're happy about it. Triple H basically said, hey, if it's inevitable and the fight's going to happen, I might as well profit off it. So he announces it at the Elimination Chamber. I am super pumped for this. Ever since that Raw where they had the stare down and the crowd went crazy, I was like, oh, God. And then they hinted a little bit during the Rumble. This is something I've wanted to see. Like, you don't get factions or groups like this very often where they're both running at a really high level. So I'm super excited for this. So look forward to that in the Elimination Chamber. First match of the night was Antonio Cesaro versus Dolph Ziggler in an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. If you read the spoilers, this and the later match was kind of a big deal. So even if you didn't read the spoilers, this was like its own. Because I try not to read the spoilers, but stuff like this, it's hard to avoid because if you go on like a website, instead of just saying SmackDown spoiler, it says like blank and blank qualify for the chamber, and you're like, oh, okay, well, thanks. But it was all right. So we get Antonio Cesaro versus Dolph Ziggler. There was a pretty cool DDT spot in this where Cesaro throws him up like he's going for the uppercut. Dolph catches him and does a DDT. The only gripe I had, and this is a small gripe, this is just personal preference, he turned into a rolling DDT. I do not mess with rolling DDTs. I just like, if he would have just caught him and just boom, straight to the ground, would have been a lot cooler, in my opinion. I don't roll with rolling DDTs. No, get my roll on, Dante Culpepper. But it was a cool spot. Cesaro ends up getting the win by the Cesaro swing. It's called the swing. Cesaro swing. Whatever. Then it's the neutralizer. And I still to this day wish he would win matches with uppercuts, but neutralizer is here to stay, it appears. And he qualifies for the chamber. So at this point, it's Randy Orton, John Cena, Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, and Antonio Cesaro. And I'm telling you guys, I know the internet isn't one big group. I'm not trying to group everybody in. But when the spoilers came out, whether it was tweets or whether it was YouTube comment, excuse me, no one went far enough that I saw to make a video complaining, but I promise you, you can look for reference. People, after all the Cesaro hope and dreams of wanting him to go up in a better spot, people were still complaining about this. How? How can you complain about this? Some people on Twitter wrote me. So apparently you guys saw it too, because when I made the comment, it's like everyone's like, exactly. I'm like, I know. And I'm like, you guys, Like, not everybody. I know it was not everybody, but there was a big group of people, and I'm like, what is going? What more do you want? Oh well, it was going to. I mean, I understand. I can see where they're. I'm stoked Cesaro's in. Not so much about the other guy. We'll talk about that when we get there. But and people, a lot of people's gripe where they want, it had such big names so far. They wanted more big names to be in there. Like people mentioned Brock. Brock. The thing about it is unless all of a sudden they have a sudden change of heart and they want to do Brock Lesnar versus Batista at WrestleMania instead, which I'm not gonna lie, not gonna complain about. They can't put Brock Lesnar in there. Like the thing about the Elimination Chamber is there's 6 dudes in there. 5 dudes are gonna have to do jobs. It's just the way it is. Cesaro and Christian, unless we see Jack Swagger of last year times 30,000, they're not winning. They're in there to fill it with decent enough guys that people can, maybe not think, oh, they can win this match, but can put on a good show and hopefully get themselves over. But you can't put Brock in there if you're not going to have him win, especially if they're not going to have him win. They're still building towards Brock Undertaker. You can't have Brock Lesnar lose a match unless the Undertaker randomly comes in and costs him the match for no apparent reason, which that's a whole nother thing. So people are saying that, and I mean that makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, guys, just go with it. Just be one with the people. Be one with the people. So, and like I said, it's not everybody, but I just saw it was enough where I noticed. And a dude, I don't remember whose video. I'll have to find it. I was watching a video about, it was like a Q&A, and someone asked about it, and all of a sudden they're just talking shit like, oh well, Cesaro, he's not ready. It's like, not ready. What is he ready for? He hasn't won the title. He's in a match with like 5 other dudes that, it's not like he's marquee WrestleMania. Like, what's he not ready for? You don't think he can go with those guys? He can definitely go with those guys. It's going to be cool to see him in there. Anyways, enough of that. I'm just confused about how people are complaining about this because it doesn't make sense to me. Then we got Xavier Woods versus Fandango. R-Truth on commentary. Fandango trying to end his bad run of getting eliminated by a freaking little person midget bull and then losing to R-Truth. R-Truth, who was on commentary for this. Fandango does. He does break through and beats Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods looked pretty good in this match. I mean, I've been whatever with him, since he's come up. He did some cool stuff in this. You had the Emma-taining. Sounds ridiculous to say. Sign. Summer Rae breaks it over. Then she pulls up another one. I guess it's Emma from NXT. Emma-lution. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So Fandango gets the win. He goes to beat him down some more. R-Truth comes in, makes a save, beats him out. Fandango gets pissed, and they dance to Funkadactus. Is what it is. Then we got Rybaxel versus PTP. And Rybaxel gets the win immediately. They go ham on this. It's like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Darren Young, Titus O'Neil never gets in the match, which set up an angle I actually liked. I'm just gonna say it. This angle was hitting home because we've risen up with the primetime players all the way back. All the way. Are we allowed? Is it like the rule where we're not allowed to talk about stuff that happened back in the day if WWE didn't like it? They had a manager that was a pretty cool guy, and he said some stuff that pissed some people off about Kobe Bryant. And, we rose with them through that. And we rose to the millions of dollars dance and the face turn and this. And we rose with these dudes. And they never really got anywhere, but that's okay because we were along for the ride. And Darren Young being busted up helped this for me. He's sitting there just mouth bleeding. He's died. Shit, man, what are you doing? And Titus O'Neil, you could see when they went for the pin, he didn't even get in the match. He just sits there and he just stares at him. He gets in the ring. He's like, man, you lasted 2 minutes. And Darren Young grabs the mic and he's like, man, we're like brothers, man. We've been through it all together. We're out here. We're doing our thing. We're about to win the tag titles. Apparently not. And Titus O'Neil's like, man, we ain't never been a family. And bam! Starts attacking him. He nails him. He takes him outside the ring and is smacking him up against the barricade. He just leaves him there lifeless. He's like, hey, I came here to be a winner. I've been a winner my whole life, and ever since I've been associated with you, I've been a loser now, and I'm done with it. So Titus O'Neil goes on his way. I thought it was a cool angle. It had you feeling for Darren Young. It is hard to make you feel in wrestling, especially in like a lower end. But man, we we rose with these dudes. So I was feeling for Darren Young. I was like, man, he doesn't deserve that. He's trying hard. He's Black John Cena, man. He's out here. He's just bleeding. And Titus O'Neil, but hey, Titus O'Neil has some tools, man. And is he ever going to be a main eventer? If it was up to me, well, you know what? It's not up to me, so I'm not even going to go there. But based on the track record of the WWE, I wouldn't think so. But hey, you never know. Maybe, you never know. But yeah, he's got a lot of tools. It'll be interesting to see where they go with this further. But I liked this segment a lot. I had me feeling from Point D Young. Then the second qualifying match was Christian versus Jack Swagger. It talked about how Zeb Coulter was smacking up Jack Swagger on rocks, he was dicking around. And it was another, like I said, qualifying match, trying to get both of the Real Americans in there. Christian ends up winning by a frog splash. So that happened. I mean, you guys know me. There's one thing I'm about. It's honesty hour. I don't jump on the Daniel Bryan train because everyone likes Daniel Bryan. I'm afraid that if I don't like Daniel Bryan, people aren't going to watch our videos because they don't like it. I am not a Christian guy. I mean, in the past few years, I'm an Orton guy. So even when he was getting that huge push, when he was getting that spotlight of the World Heavyweight title feud, I was on the Randy Orton bandwagon, obviously, so didn't really care for it there. When he won the title against Del Rio for, before the Orton thing, it was kind of like, okay, he's just getting the edge rub, which, say what you want about Eddie and Rey. Don't like Rey Mysterio at all. I didn't like, when Rey Mysterio got the Eddie Guerrero rub and ended up winning, Royal Rumble, whatever, getting title run. So I didn't really like the Christian thing of like, okay, well, we feel bad for Edge. We all love Edge. Let's give it to his little buddy Christian. So I'm not a big Christian guy, but not going to complain too much because, if you read the spoilers, spoiler alert, he is a prime candidate for an injury angle to where he could be replaced by someone if they come up with it. And also, I'm not going to complain too much because I don't think he has a chance in hell to win the Elimination Chamber, obviously. So, not going to worry about it too much. Christian versus Batista, because that'll sell. If you guys are complaining about Randy Orton, Batista, by God, Christian Batista, where dreams die. Which, that's another thing that's kind of weird about this. It's like, when on the road to WrestleMania, you start looking at potential matchups of the title, and you just see that some just don't make sense or wouldn't work, so it really narrows it down to what's going to happen. So, I don't know. But yeah, winning by a frog splash, still don't, just hit the kill switch, you know what I'm saying? And then backstage, Christian goes all Daniel Bryan, talking about how I earned this, like I've earned everything else. Like, you earned it because your best friend got injured and he was much better than you, so they felt bad. Right. You earned everything. One more match. You earned an RKO out the door. Randy Orton said, brother, I'm not going to Smackdown unless you give me the title, brother. Because that's what we do, man. We just demand titles. Then we get Kofi Kingston versus Sandow. Kofi Kingston's been on a roll lately. He always has cool Rumble spots. He beat Randy Orton. Some bullshit. Didn't happen. It didn't really happen. I rewatched it, and we all had thought it happened. Didn't happen. But he beats Damien Sandow, obviously. Damien Sandow is on a downward spiral, to say the least, to put it in nice terms. But Kofi gets the win. Kofi's another guy where it's going to be interesting to see where they go with him in 2014. He's been there for a while. He never really gets anywhere because Randy Orton says, stupid, fucking stupid. But it'll be interesting to see where he goes. Then we get Road Dogg versus Cody. At first, I thought this was a tag match. I'm like, really? We're going to go Royal Rumble, Raw, SmackDown, Raw? But it was just a singles match. So LeBron James, set it on down. A singles match, Road Dogg versus Cody. They do announce the tag match, but it's going to be in a cage because when we think back, tag matches in cages, we haven't seen this for a while. Yeah, there wasn't one on Raw a few weeks ago with Daniel Bryan and Bray Wyatt and the Usos. And during the match, we didn't come up with 45 different scenarios on why cage match tag matches were a bad idea. Because if one guy climbs out, okay, cool, you made it out, but now you left your buddy in there with a 2-on-1 handicap match to get his ass kicked. Just doesn't make a lot of sense. But I guess this time maybe the door won't be bolted shut or whatever, chained shut. So I don't know. We'll see. They just don't want interference, so we'll see how that goes. But Cody Rhodes wins this with a disaster kick, which makes sense because you want to build up to, even though the New Age Outlaws won clean at the Royal Rumble, you want to build up to why they get a rematch, because on Raw their match was interrupted by Brock Lesnar. Thank God. But yeah, so it makes sense, but at the same time it doesn't make sense. So we'll see how it goes on Raw. And then the main event, the Shield is in the ring, and all of a sudden the Wyatts appear on the screen. This was some creepy shit. This was good stuff. I am so into this feud. You don't get feuds like this often. Face, heel, heel. Two heel stables, but at the same time Roman Reigns is getting that baby face reaction. Boy! Woo! Got some smart people. They're only smart when they agree with me. Yeah. Take that, Daniel Bryan. I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you guys. I'm just kidding. But yeah, you got Roman Reigns chants when he was face to face with Triple H. So that was a good time. He's getting cheered all of the time. So yeah, but they appear, and that was like, damn, this is gonna be good. And the Shield's just standing there in the dark, looking at the screen. And all three of the Wyatts are getting some talking time, even if Eric Rowan's only line was "run," and you couldn't really hear him because he was in a mask like "run." What? Sheep mask guy. But yeah, so that was pretty cool, and that fired the Shield up. They're like, oh hell no. So they're up against Daniel Bryan, Sheamus, and Rey Mysterio, aka probably the three worst faces that you could ever put on a team as far as piquing my interest. And for you guys, it's probably 2/3. Like, I don't think people like Rey anymore. I understand him coming out 30 wasn't his fault, and most people weren't booing because it was Rey Mysterio, because it wasn't Daniel Bryan. And I know y'all don't like Sheamus, so you're 2/3 of the way with me. You guys know I don't really care for Daniel Bryan. I just don't get it. So for me, I'm just like, I'm on the Shield train. And I like them anyways, but it was just like, this is not a babyface team that is gonna make me sympathize with them and want to cheer for their asses. And luckily for me, I didn't have to, because they're going. It was a pretty good match. You guys know what 6-man tag matches are like. You know what Shield matches are like. You know what matches with these other dudes are like. It all starts breaking down. And at first, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns were the legal guys. And I was like, shit. Are they gonna, end the Roman Reigns thing as quick as it started? Because as bad as they treat Daniel Bryan on screen, he's not gonna lose clean to Roman Reigns just yet at all. He's not gonna lose without some interference from these guys. You wouldn't think in a 6-man tag match on Smackdown, obviously. So I started thinking, oh shoot, but you never know how it goes with the other way around. I'm like, oh geez, are they gonna have Roman Reigns lose and just to help Daniel Bryan? I'm like, no, hell no. Starts breaking down, and oh, my eyes lit up, and I got so happy when I saw Daniel Bryan jump out of the ring and hit Seth Rollins, and he kneed him so good that apparently knocked himself unconscious because he was laying out there, even though he hit the offensive move. And I saw Roman Reigns get set up for the 619, and I said, little ass Rey Mysterio is going to hit a 619. He runs to the ropes, and he comes back and BOW! Whew! Spear from hell itself. That was a killer spear. Especially when you're hitting on a little dude like Rey Mysterio. That spear looked raw. Whew! Roman Reigns killed him. I yelled, he killed him. He's dead. Roman Reigns pins him 1, 2, 3 because Daniel Bryan was too injured after delivering a knee to Seth Rollins that he couldn't make the save. I don't know. Smackdown was almost over. I mean, he didn't have time for that. You can't run over on a tape show. So the Shield gets the win, sending the message to the Wyatt family. Pretty good match. Great match for me because Roman Reigns looked great. Overall, I haven't watched a Smackdown in a long time. It was just kind of something to do. Normally, I go play basketball on Friday nights or go do dumb shit with random people. Tonight it wasn't in the cards, so I said, why not? I mean, it passed time. It was okay. There's a lot of weird stuff on there. Like Xavier Woods and Fandango was kind of a weird thing. Kofi and Sandow was kind of a weird thing, but that's going to be on everything. There was no Orton on the show, no Cena, no Punk, obviously, no mention of Punk. So but they went with what they had. It wasn't a bad show at all. I liked the stuff with the Shield and the Wyatts. The only thing, I liked the PTP story thing as well. I just wanted some Usos, baby. Everybody knows I love Samoa, especially the Jimmy Uso half of Samoa. So that's it for the SmackDown review. Let me know what you guys thought down below if you watched it. If not, what do you think of what I told you happened? And I'll see you on Monday. So, subscribe if you haven't. Like this video, because liking videos is a good thing to do, because it shares it for all the world to see. But yeah, that's it from here. I'll talk to you guys later. See you.